Welcome back. Right now, we are joined by Julia Loggins, author of many books, but upcoming book called Revolutionary Beauty. Also, health expert, educator, many great things going on with Julia. Thank you so much for joining us today. How are you?
Thank you. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Well, I'm looking forward to hearing more about you and this book and everything going on. So, before we get into this most recent book of yours, tell me more about your health journey. I know it's been very long, difficult, has its ups and downs, but tell me a little bit about how this all began.
Yeah. I spent much of my first 20 years in and out of hospitals. Doctors told my parents that I wouldn't live past 17. I had what was called environmental sensitivities. I'm 67, almost 67. I was born in 1955. So in those days, people didn't really understand what environmental sensitivities or allergies were. And I was sent all around the country to one experimental drug program after another until all my organs entirely broke down. I had life threatening asthma, rheumatoid arthritis, bleeding ulcers, and eventually found a medical doctor who had studied with Paul Bragg, the health pioneer who pioneered the understanding of fresh and live foods. And he gave my parents a prescription of fresh or live foods. And that was the beginning of my health journey, the beginning of my journey to wealth, and also my passion for health and and I completely healed my body. And in doing so, that led to my passion and my almost 40-year practice as a gut health expert.
It's really fascinating to hear about the origins of your experience in this health world. Is it fair to say that growing up, your health issues were life altering, that it affected things that you could and couldn't do in a very dramatic way?
Very dramatic. I mean, I lost my hair, my eyelashes, my eyebrows. I was crippled with rheumatoid arthritis. I carried an inhaler and they didn't have to call them an EpiPen in those days, but the ability to give myself epinephrine all the time for allergic reactions. And as I said, in and out of the hospital, lots of dramatic trips. So yes, it was lots of trauma, which I work with people in women and men healing, because trauma, of course, is the basis for so much of our illness. And and yes, it was a dramatic beginning, and it led to, like I said, it led to my passion to be able to help as many people recover their health and reclaim their vitality as possible. Because I know that if I can do it, anyone can do it.
And I know that improving our health, it's a journey that we are on for our entire lives. For you, you had that big change that occurred many years ago. How long did it take from when you had that interaction to when you actually felt like you were in a place to be able to help others and to be able to give your knowledge and your experience to people to help them heal?
Yeah, so I opened my practice when I was about 28, and I, met my doctor and began my healing process when I was 17. So it was a long process. It wasn't overnight, but I had some very dramatic leaps in my healing process to where really within the first few years, I was able to recover my health, and I just kept building. I had a huge detox process to go on to eliminate all the pharmaceutical drugs that were in my body, because we're under the mythological belief that once we stop taking medications, they just leave our body, but they don't. They're stored in our cells. So a lot of what I taught and what I write about is about the detoxification process and why that's so important, and why that is going to be as common to people as washing our hands in the next decade.
Tell me more about your previous books and how they led to this book, Revolutionary Beauty, that's coming out on February 1st.
Oh, well, the first book that I wrote was with my former husband, Julia Loggins, and that's Unimaginable Life. That was a journey about our relationship, and I always loved writing, and I loved that project, and it was a powerful experience for me. And then, as I dived into as I was continuing in my health practice, what I wanted to do is I wanted to have kind of a Bible. I wanted to have a book to give all of my clients, Nothing had really been written about gut health and healing your gut. And so I wrote my first book, Detoxify, which led to my second book, It Takes Guts to Be Happy. It was really a manual for how to put your body back together again. And then when I met Patricia Bragg several years ago, health icon, founder of Bragg Life Foods, her passion was to write about ageless beauty. And she wanted to be able to give the tools that I had refined and that, she and her father had introduced to America. We wanted to make them accessible, simple, and easy for every woman to access.
Would you say this book is a bit full circle then, including your experiences? Also, you have Patricia Bragg. She authored it with you, a foreword with your ex-husband, Kenny Loggins. It seems like so many
Yeah.
pieces of your experience in life have been put into this book.
Oh, absolutely. I feel like, isn't that true about life? Every single thing that has happened to us comes back again. And he wrote a beautiful foreword. I couldn't have imagined anything better. And he was right there in my own journey and in my confronting what I call the wound, which is the wound that I believe all women carry, that has to do with the punishing rules of physical perfection that we measure ourselves by, that we were conditioned to live in our society. And Revolutionary Beauty was written to create a new paradigm for beauty and to change the culture of beauty in America.
Julie, what has been the most rewarding part of this journey for you, aside from being able to transform your own health? What has been, as you look back, the best part of this, from interacting with all of your many readers to working with individual clients? What really stands out to you?
Oh, what's so exciting is to see the people in my private practice who come in and their doctors have told them that maybe they had, like me, they had no hope. There was nothing. Maybe they didn't know what their diagnosis was. They didn't understand why they were suffering. Maybe they had been told that everything was okay, except they felt terrible. And I've had clients go through such dramatic healings. I had a client who completely recovered her health, who had been bedridden for 2 years, and to where she's in Hawaii painting now, living a life she never could have imagined. And I have thousands of stories like this, and they touch me so deeply. And so, in writing and doing, a show like this, and in being able to do, work with media and to get out into the world, I get to spread that message that healing is possible, that we can do it with our own hands, that it doesn't have to cost a fortune, and that we can trust ourselves. And what my book is written to be is some inspiration and some guidance in how to do this.
Who is your ideal reader for Revolutionary Beauty? Who do you think would benefit the most from reading this book?
Well, that's a great question. I think that I wrote this book for people who are struggling, who are suffering. Maybe they've tried diets, maybe they've tried a lot of things, but they just don't seem to have the energy that they want. They feel like, certainly they may feel like they're aging, but they're not feeling joy and ebullience and optimism in their life. And for anybody out there who's feeling that, this book was written for you. It has the simple tools that I use in my own practice to guide people to wellness. And I wrote the book specifically for women, of course, but I did that because I believe that when you reach women, you reach the world.
I love that. Absolutely true. When you reach women, you reach the world. Julia, how can we learn more about you, follow along with your life, and get your new book?
Thank you. So you can get my book at any online bookseller. Amazon, Barnes and Noble, wherever you'd like to, pre-order a book. It goes on sale February 1st, but you can pre-order today, and you can go to my website, julialoggins.com, and find out all about my online courses, my products that I developed specifically for sensitive people like myself. They're very simple, they're very clean, and you can have a direct contact with me because I invite that. And I would like to, hear from each and every one of you who is looking for some help and some guidance in your journey to wellness.
Well, thank you so much, Julia Loggins, for joining us today. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you, learning more about your health journey, and looking forward to reading your book, Revolutionary Beauty. Thanks so much for your time today. And you can learn more about Julia Loggins at her website, julialoggins.com. You can follow along on all social media platforms at Julia Loggins. Really thankful that she spent some time with us today right here on Park City Television. We'll be back with more after this.